know how to recognize good builds. You can tell when something is built and detailed well, but can you pinpoint what exactly gives it that put together, lively, and aesthetic look? Well, today I'm going to share a handful of simple ways that can help you add detail, a bit of storytelling, and a cohesive feel to your Minecraft world. After all, it is a little easier than you may think. So one of the main things to consider when building is the idea that anything functional, like a wheat farm or other food stores for example, can be upgraded into something beautiful too. Typically when building, you want to see how you can turn your foundational builds, like crops or farms, animal pens, mineshaft entrances, etc., into something appealing to the eye. These things that make up the majority of our starter bases need to be visually pleasing as well as functional. So for our first example, instead of a standard potato farm, why not kick it up a notch and make something with a little more pizzazz? I'm going to split my farm into 4 sections, one for each main crop that I grow here. Using dirt and trapdoors, I'm going to create the look of a raised garden or flower bed, which helps add depth. In the middle of the farm layout, I'm going to add some foliage and lanterns just for a little extra detail. I'll continue to speckle bushes, fences, and lanterns around the area to make it feel more closed in and organic. Add a few finishing touches, and voila! This once bland farm is now aesthetic, cozy, and just as functional. Okay, so staying on the theme of making functional things beautiful, let's head on over to the mines. As a child, I yearned for the mines, but I also yearned for them to be prettier than just a 2x2 hole in the ground. So we can make our mining tunnels much prettier by making the opening larger and adding some wood foundations to the outside of it, which gives it some structure and makes it look more professional. I like to use furnaces, barrels, mixed wood slabs, and some light sources around the area to make it look lived in. You can add chests right by the inside of the entrance as well, which will be helpful when starting or ending any mining trips. I'm also going to add a little path here to suggest that this is an area people often walk through. Any way that you can use blocks, textures, and details to suggest signs of life is always a good idea. It's a nice way to subtly tell the viewer a little story about each area. Don't you think this looks much better than a random hole in the wall? Up next is something fun that can easily tie into the area next to your base, garden, or farm. It also looks good next to a body of water. Gazebos are cozy, somewhat cottagecore little builds that can give players a relaxing place to visit. Depending on the surrounding area of your world, these can really elevate the feel of a pretty little spot of forest, flower field, or your own personal garden. I like using a mix of moss, mossy stone bricks, and other stone textures to make the gazebo itself. Adding bushes and vines help bring nature from outside inside. If you'd like, you can even add a couple chairs inside to suggest that this is an area that people like to sit and chat. If you place a banner down before placing your stair for the chair, it looks like you even have a little pillow. Get creative and don't be afraid to try different combinations of flowers, blocks, and details to make your gazebo feel like your own. Depending on how far your gazebo is from your base or other buildings, you can also add a path to create more visual texture and signs of life. For our fourth idea, let's talk about ponds. So every Minecraft world has its own naturally spawned bodies of water, but usually they don't come looking as beautiful and detailed as we'd like. By creating our own pond, we can add a little touch of creativity and uniqueness that helps the area stand out from everything else around it. Start by digging out a hole in the ground of whatever size pond you want, and create spaces of varied depth within the circumference itself. I made mine mostly circular, but make sure you don't make a perfect circle as that won't look natural or organic. Once you have the shape and size you like, take some plain stone, andesite, and stone slabs. Replace all the blocks within, mixing them all in at random. There's no right or wrong way to texture this, so just play with it until it looks right. Then of course, we add the water. Once that's complete, we're going to add a border around the pond using slabs. Again, just eyeball it until you're happy with how it looks. And now is the fun part, adding lily pads, sugarcane, flowers, bushes, berries, and any other natural blocks you like. Make it look bright and alive. If you want to take it a little further, you can even add a small fishing dock. I like to use campfires, trapdoors, and spruce, and then add a barrel to keep the fishing rods and loot in. After all of that, we now have a pretty and even functional custom pond. Okay friends, we've arrived at our last idea. This one is something that hits a little more close to home, because it's, well, literally attached to your home. If you don't already, you should be adding patios or porches to your base. Even if you have a really small starter base, adding a small area with an overhang, a couple chairs, and even a little table can elevate the look of it much more than you'd think. Campfires work well for the overhang itself, using fences to hold it up, and a solid block at the bottom of these fences. Trapdoors work for a little table, and stairs for seats. If you want pillows on your chairs, you can use the banner trick I mentioned earlier. Pots and lanterns nearby give the eye a little bit more to look at, and moss carpets can be added in the surrounding area as well. Just like with any of these other ideas, play with it and see what type of detailing blocks you like the most. I think adding a little area like this in your base is a sweet and comfortable spot to have. Okay, if you've made it to this point, I assume that means you liked the ideas. If you did enjoy this video and it even inspired you for your own Minecraft endeavors, please leave a comment sharing what your favorite idea was. Or, if you could be so bold, make a YouTube short showing how you used these ideas and tag me so I can go see it. Subscribing is also very appreciated as it helps me create more videos and helps you get more inspiration. See you next time and happy building!